Welcome back to the Mowing in the Dark podcast. I am your host, Aaron Sutter. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. Guys, I really thank you for coming back to listen to another episode here on the Mowing in the Dark podcast. If you would take 1 second, whether it's right now or after this episode, head over to Apple Podcasts. Leave us a rating and review there. That would help this podcast out a lot. Give us some social proof on there. Just give us some ratings and reviews. That would be awesome. Also, if you haven't yet, subscribe to the podcast. It doesn't cost you anything. Subscribe to the podcast. That way you don't miss an episode. All right, guys, today I want to talk to you about the health of my business. Is it healthy? Is it where it should be? Especially after getting done with going through all my books this last week, getting prepared for taxes in the upcoming weeks here. Is my business healthy? I want to talk to you about that in just a moment. But first, let's hear the show notes and then we will jump right back into it. All right, guys, let's jump into it. So last week I went through all my books like you're supposed to do, unless of course you have an accountant or whatever, then you just give them all your receipts and they do all the work for you. But I don't have that. I don't have a bookkeeper. I am the bookkeeper. So I put all my receipts in. Of course, I do that over the course of the year. I don't wait till the end of the year. So I did that over the course of the year. And then at the end of the year, I go back through and I make sure I've got everything in there. And so when it came down to it, and I got those last numbers in, got everything in there. I got all my charitable giving. I got all my quarterly tax payments in there, all that stuff, everything. It turns out that I was expecting a 20% profit this year. And it turns out I made less than a 6% profit in my business this year. And you're probably thinking to yourself, Aaron, how can this be? You've told us in former podcasts that you make a 50% profit on your business. Well, let me tell you, I had some numbers mixed up when I did that episode about having a 50% profit. And I'm not ashamed to admit it. I am a big man. I can admit when I'm wrong. All right. So what I was doing is I was adding in my owner's draw into that profit amount. And what I've learned over the last, I don't know, however many months, is that I'm an expense. I'm not a part of the profit. My earnings are not part of the profit. All right. So my pay is an expense. And so that means taking that out, I should have a 20% profit on my business. Well, with inflation, with the high gas prices that we had this year, I only made about a 6% profit on my business. And that, I got to tell you guys, that was really depressing seeing that, because it's like you're hoping, you're anticipating a 20% profit. Now I do take, I take 3% profit off the top because that's profit first method. And then if there's something left over, then that's also profit. That's the way I do it. I haven't read Profit First in a while. I need to reread it just to implement more things. Every time I read it, I implement more things in my business. And so right now where I'm at is I take a 3% profit off the top. And then if there's anything left over at the end of the year, that's also profit. And then I can choose what to do with that. I can choose to pay myself a bonus, or I can choose to put it back into the business, and buy equipment, or I can choose to just sit on it, just put it in the bank and just sit on it and let it be there for next year. Well, this year, I will have money in the bank going into next year. I mean, I do. That's fine. That's great. My salary is paid all the way through April, so I'm okay there. And my first quarter taxes, as far as I know, are paid for. All right. So right now, and we're at the beginning of quarter one, so I pay the taxes at the end of quarter one, so that's good to go. I save for insurance, I save for a bunch of different things, so I'm set. All right, but it's a frustration to me looking at those numbers that I made only a 6% profit when I was expecting a 20% profit. Because here's what I did. I followed the news media. What the news media was telling me was inflation's going to be about 8% in 2021. So I followed that. I said, okay, at the beginning of 2021, I was like, all right, not a problem. I'll raise my prices 10%. I'll make an extra 2% profit, and it'll be good to go. I'll be right where I was in 2020. And in 2021, I'm sorry, I made 20% profit. So I was happy with that. I was really ecstatic about that. So in 2022, I was expecting to make more than 20% profit because I raised my prices to what the inflation rate was and over that just by a little bit. So I was like, great. And yes, I did lose a big commercial client, so I lost a bit of money there, but I also took on more lawn mowing work, and so there was still money there. I did take some loss there, but it should still be 20% across the board, 20% profit, because when you're looking at it, it's like, okay, yeah, that bears out. It should be the same as last year, plus I raised it 10%. So if 8% inflation, that's going to take it down, my profit down 8%. Well, let's raise the prices by 10% and we'll make an extra 2% profit. That it did not work that way. So somebody's lying to me here. Somebody's lying. Either it's the news media or it's the government or it's both. Because somewhere in the mix there, inflation was more like 30%, not 8%. And so I'm confused on why I'm down to 6% profit this year instead of my 20%. And so this year, to combat that, I'm looking at my numbers and I'm like, well, to be safe and to make up for those losses, I have to raise my percentage. I have to raise my rates by 20% across the board for snow removal, for leaf cleanup, for spring cleanup, and for lawn mowing, and for shrub trimming. It's got to be 20% higher. That's just to get me back to 20%, hopefully. Now, inflation still, I looked it up online. They say it's going to be like 4.3%. And I'm like, okay, right. It was 8% in 2022, and it turned out to be more like 30. So I'm guessing we're going to be at around 26% of inflation. So I'm raising my rates 20% in the hopes that I'll get back to like 10 to 15% profit, because I can't raise my rates that fast. 20% is a lot. So I'm frustrated, guys. I'm frustrated. So is this an indicator of my business? Well, the health of my business. Well, I'm still making a profit. I still have a profit. So my business is being successful, and I'm taking care of my clients and I'm being paid. So it's successful in that way. My clients appreciate my business. They love my business. So I'm successful in that way. So by all metrics, I am successful, but I'm not as successful as I want to be. All right. Because I want to grow this business a little bit. I was looking at hiring somebody this year to maybe keep all of my lawn mowing clients, because I was tossing back the idea of getting rid of a day of work or hiring somebody and moving all that work into 4 days so that I have a day open to do shrub trimming, all these types of odd jobs, mulch, everything. And so I've been looking at this, and it's like, I don't know if I could do it. That's going to be a leap. I'm going to have to take a leap of faith here, just like when I did what I did when I started my business. That's what it feels like. It feels like a risk to put my business out there, to hire somebody in the hopes that I can bring on enough work and smash the other work into 4 days, plus bring on enough work to pay for this new employee. And make more money, because this employee should make me money. If he's not, then I can't keep him. So these are the things I'm thinking about. And I want my business to be healthy. So I'm debating. I just keep debating, should I hire somebody or just get rid of a day? Well, if I get rid of a day, I'm going to lose that revenue. And if I hire somebody, I'm going to lose that revenue anyway. So if I just stayed solo, got rid of a day, then I would be able to do this. I'd be able to take on more odd jobs like shrub trimming, mulch, really kick into the mulch game. I love doing mulch. A lot of people don't like doing mulch. I love doing mulch because it's just a mindless job, and it's just physical. It's just, you're just working. And so it's easy to me. So I want to get into that mulch game a little bit more. I've done a few mulch jobs in the past, but I'd love to do more. That I don't want to do any other type of landscaping, not plants or anything like that. I just want to do the mulch. And so I don't know which way to go, but I'm hoping that this is striking a chord with some of you listening, that maybe this is where your business is. Maybe you're afraid to talk about it. I'm not afraid to talk about it. I don't care if people think that I'm dumb, made bad choices or whatever. I don't really care. I'm trying to run a good business here, and I'm trying to share my ups and downs with you guys so that you don't fall into the same traps that I have. And maybe you can share your successes on Facebook or Instagram and say, hey, guys, check this out. I would love to see that, because I want to be able to emulate that. And so share your story, whether good or bad. It doesn't matter. You got to look at it as helping someone. I want to help someone be better than I was. And that's what I want to do with this podcast episode specifically. I want to help you guys be better than I was last year. Now, I was run down last year. I was miserable. It was a miserable year in 2021. It felt like I was walking through peanut butter the entire year. I was done. I was done with mowing. I was just done. I didn't want to see another lawn. I didn't want to be on another mower. I just wanted to be done. And I've got a little bit more energy because I've had such a nice long break this winter. And I've been going to the gym, so that's been helping my energy, helping my strength. So I feel more confident going into 2022. But I'm still cautious, because I do have to raise those rates 20%, and I could lose a whole day of clients just by that, because 20% is a lot. And I've raised my prices 10% in 2020 and 10% again in 2021. And now I'm raising them 20%. I'm up 40% in 3 years. And I'm still making only 6% profit. That's the worry. Can I pull the business out of this? Can I pull my business out of this, what seems to be a downturn? Yes, the gas prices played a huge role in why I lost money last year. They did. And the gas prices are down this year, so that's good. But who's to say they won't go back up? Who's to say that gas prices are not going to jump through the roof again? Who's to say that inflation is going to jump to 9% this year? Who's to say? We don't know. And that's the thing. We're not in a stable economy right now. Everything is wonky. We don't have a good president in the White House to have a backbone and to make good decisions. He can barely form a sentence. And I'm not trying to get political here. I'm just saying there's something that it's just not right. The economy's trash, and we're going into this. Now, I understand what people went through now in 2008, 2009. This is scary. This is a scary time to be in business, because one wrong move could cost you your business or your profitability. Now, if your business doesn't make a profit, it's not the end of the world, but that's why you're in business. Now, if you take a loss, that's okay, as long as you have money in the bank. That's the thing. You got to have money in the bank. And so I want to caution you guys, don't be running out and buying a bunch of equipment this year unless you have the cash in the bank, because this could be the year that buying a bunch of equipment could take you out, because it's different than 2020. Everyone still was working for the most part. They were just working from home, and they were still making the same amount of money. It wasn't like the economy took a dump. This year, the economy's taken a dump, and people are going to lose their jobs. People are going to be laid off. And so now we're up against it. We're up against it because our business is reliant upon other people, on clients. And if they can't afford to pay us, we can't do the work. And like I said, I've got to raise my prices by 20% just to survive. Because if I didn't raise my prices this year, I certainly would not have a profit at the end of 2023. Because inflation's more than 6%. It's gotta be. Even though they calculate it at 4.3%, thinking people around the world know that it's more than that. So we just have to be smart. This year especially, we have to be smart. We have to think about what we're going to do to survive this economic downturn. And one of the things, I'm raising my prices. I'm trying to condense my routes, get tight routes, as tight as I can get them. And I worked on this last year, and I want to work on it again. I don't know if I can get them any tighter, but I'm definitely going to be advertising a little bit more to hopefully kind of slough off some of that, the bottom work that I don't like, that's not very profitable, and bring on new work. And so it's got to happen. I love my clients, but it's got to happen. To be profitable and to stay in business, I have to do it. And it stinks. It stinks for my clients. It stinks for me because I love my clients. I think they're great people. But something's got to give. And I got to think about the business and my family. And so I'm sorry, you can find another person to mow your lawn. I can't find another person to have I don't have another business. This is it. And so I have to be smart, and so do you. You got to think about what you can do to cut costs in 2023. That's what I'm going to be looking at too. And this week is cutting. How can I cut as much fat as possible? I mean, cutting costs. I'm going to be calling up my insurance agent, asking, how can I lower my rates? Do I need to shop around for lower rates? What can I do? My insurance is pretty darn high. All right. And then my cell phone bill. What can I do about my cell phone bill? Do I need to get rid of, something? Do I need to change carriers? What do I need to do to lower my cell phone bill? Any little thing that I can do to lower costs, that is what I'm looking at this year. I'm even looking at taking a hiking stove with a pot and bringing ready-made meals or whatever, just add water to it as a lunch instead of going out to eat and spending money on food like that. Because it's something's got to change. Something's got to give. And I've got to do better at cutting those costs. So this year is the year to cut out all the fat in my business and just try to run as lean as possible. That means selling equipment. That means selling whatever I can. That means getting my house in order to have less expense across the board. And so that's what I'm going to be doing this year. I hope you're thinking about what you're going to be doing this year to survive this. Maybe you're just thinking, I'm going to sell my way out of this recession. Well, good luck. I hope that works for you. But I'm afraid that it may not. You do need to look at cutting costs. You need to look at everything. Yes, sell more. If you have the ability to sell more and take on more work, do it. Do it. By all means, do it. But you also got to look at cutting the fat out of your business and getting the waste out of your business. Just like me, I got to get the waste out of my business. So that is something that I am looking at. I've already been looking at it. I've canceled some memberships. I've canceled some things. Just got to get that waste completely out of the business. So that's it for this episode, guys. I hope that this was helpful for you. I hope this got your wheels turning to think about what you're going to do this year, because it could be a very vicious year on small businesses. So really think about what you can do to cut the fat out of your business. And as always, guys, I will see you in the next episode.